Welcome, friends. This is The Traveling Golfer, a podcast all about the places you can golf in some of the most wonderful places in the world. I'm Mike, and right there is the Traveling Golfer, Claudio DeMarchi. Hi, pal.
Hey, Mike. Good to be back.
I'm delighted that you're here, and I'll start off by reminding people, please check out travelinggolfer.net. Here's why. Amazing articles about all the places around the world you dream of golfing and how to make that dream a reality. And as we start to, I think, worldwide start to bring down and manage our COVID situation, people are starting to get their minds around getting back out there around the world. Well, this is a great place to start. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast where you're listening to it now. And what the heck, share it with a friend.
That's right. And it's all on travelinggolfer.net.
Travelinggolfer.net.
.net.
I just want to say it again to make sure that we got it out there. And by the way, this is the show that coined the phrase, gooseberries and wine suck. I just want you to know that if you heard it anyplace else, this is where it started.
And the gentleman we're speaking with is a wine connoisseur himself.
Well, I wonder if he feels the same way. We're going to find out.
We might.
At the end of the show, we do something called the Wine Cellar. Stick around for that. Meanwhile, where are we going today and who are we speaking to?
Well, if I had a second home in this world, with all the years that I've spent working with the folks in this destination, it would be Santee, South Carolina.
And why is that?
Well, because we've just worked together for so many years. Back in golf's heyday, I think it was probably 2001 when we started working together. So, yeah, I know.
Yeah, this has been
a
number of years.
A little bit about the place.
Yeah, that's a lot of years of getting familiar with. And who are we talking to today?
Today, well, we're talking to basically one of the members of maybe the founding family of the town of Santee.
Wow.
Would I be correct in that? We are speaking with Bill Clark now, one of the owner of the Clark's Inn and Restaurant. It was the very first business, I think 1946, your dad...
That's correct, Claudio. And I don't know whether we were the founding family, but we have been here a very long time.
Well, as Mike said earlier, if you hear it here, it must be true.
Yeah, so we just made it factual for you. Bill, thanks so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, let's get familiar. Take us on a little tour. Let's get into this.
Yeah, well, you know, the town of Santee has been known for years and years and years as America's value golf destination. And then everything's very convenient in the town. It's a small town of 800 or so people. Mm-hmm. But there was a time not too long ago when we had this Winter 4-Ball Classic, and we invited Golf Talk America to this event. And while they were there, we were doing a podcast, believe it or not. And one of the podcasts took place behind the bar at Clark's Inn and Restaurant. And after a few days of Frank Bassett and Brendan Sweeney, who were the hosts of the show, being there, I had told them that we're going to host this podcast behind the bar at Clark's because it is decorated in leather and wood furnishings, and it's just a quaint, homey little place. And while we were doing it, Frank looks at me and he says, you know, with all the golf and the way golfers are treated around here, this is golf's little big town.
Oh, that's a cool description.
And so
the whole town, Bill, give us a sort of a feel for this. The town really is dedicated to and revolving around golfers having an experience.
Well, that's been in more recent times. Santee is where it is because of where it's located on the East Coast. It's about halfway between New York and Florida. And so the biggest portion of the people that come here travel is north and south. And for years, they've been coming here and stopping in both directions. And sometimes they come twice a year. It's because it's a halfway point. And that is sort of how it grew up, because it's a rural farming area. And then I guess, Claudio, you'd know this better than me, was that about 20 years ago that all of a sudden we had a dozen or so golf courses. There was no planned effort that I'm aware of. Just all of a sudden, there were golf courses galore here, and there are 3 inside of the city limits, which is pretty unusual for a town that has 800 to 1,000 people. And so then the golfers started coming here because it's closer than going further south. It's easy to get here from Canada, and so that now is a very significant part of the reason people come here. In addition, there's the biggest lake in South Carolina, and it's connected to another lake. It's Lake Marion is here, and Lake Moultrie is towards Charleston. It's connected by a diversion canal, and you can actually put a boat in here and you can go to the Charleston Harbor. So we've got a huge state park, and we've got the lake system. So it's known for fishing, and it's known for golf, and it's basically just an outdoor recreational kind of place. There's a trailhead here for the Palmetto Trail, and there are a lot of trails in the state park. People can come here and rent boats and the fishing guides, and they can play numerous golf courses, 3 within a mile of our property. And I guess Claudio, 14 within 20 to 30 minutes.
Yes,
And
there's
it's just a good place for outdoor activities. It works particularly well right now with the COVID thing, with people needing the social distance, because the population is sparse and you have a lot of room and you're not with crowds of people. So,
Well, that sounds like it's so funny because right away we discovered that golf was going to be the first thing that came back in the way of recreational sports that you can play with other people because of the social distancing, and that it's a small population. I think that's got to be encouraging to people. You know what? It's probably better to go golfing for a week than be in the major city that I'm in.
Absolutely. And that, just to touch on the fishing, we won't dwell on that, but Lake Marion and Lake Moultrie hold several state records, and I think a couple of world records for catfish. And probably the most fun thing, if you can ever get in there and do a little striper bass fishing. At one time, the stripers that were basically an ocean fish got landlocked, and they were not expected to live, but they did, and they're flourishing. So
Wow.
that's an experience and a half.
That's a bit of science right there that doesn't add up in most cases, from salt to fresh water, and yet they managed to live. That's remarkable.
Science didn't add up, just like COVID, I guess.
Oh,
well,
boy,
let's not go there.
don't start me. So now let's talk a little bit about what golf is in the area, guys. Describe it to me.
Well, as Bill mentioned, there's three courses right in town. So pretty much a mile from Bill's property, you're at 3 golf courses. They're all very nice courses. They're well maintained. They overseed, which is a big thing. So the grass is green when you show up in the winter, as opposed to brown. As Bill mentioned, there's another 14 or more courses that you can package with, depending on how far you want to go. But within 20 minutes, there's another half dozen. And really, once you're looking at that 45-minute drive, you're almost just in the outskirts of Charleston, which a lot of people will do that drive, and they'll make a day and evening of it. And instead of coming right back to Santee, they may just go into Charleston for dinner and then come back.
Oh, that's a nice addition to the day. Yeah, for sure.
So
with the addition of this golf phenomenon that took place where you are, what did that mean for your business overall, Bill? Did you have to increase capacity, or has it, or did it just put a whole new sheen on things for you?
well, I don't know that we necessarily increased capacity, but we do need to staff up during the main golf seasons, because we get golfers that stay on the property, many of whom Claudio sends to us. But during the golf seasons, we get most of the golfers in town that eat here a couple of times. So during that time of year, we might have to beef up the serving staff or that sort of thing. But I mean, we didn't like build wings on the hotel or anything for golfers, but it does represent a significant part of our business.
That's
And
great.
they're always here having a good time, so we like to have them around. They kind of cheer the place up.
They do, and they like to drink better wine and better, this and that, and eat better food. And
Well,
that's one of the reasons that they go to Clark's, because Clark's has been recognized by a major media publication as a must-stop in South Carolina, or if anybody's traveling I-95. Do I need to do a drum roll, Bill, or are you going to tell us about that?
Well, Clark's has been in my family for like 76 years, and it's kind of evolved. When I was a kid, it was sort of like a cafe, and over the years we kept improving it. I'm a retired architect. I'm not retired, but I'm retired from architectural practice, and so I guess I practice on my own building, and I've renovated it so many times that people have asked me if maybe I wanted to put a zipper on it, because I can't. But now I have extended it from setback to setback, so I have to quit. But in any case, it's very quaint. You can look us up on the website. It's clarksonnandrestaurant.com. It is kind of quaint. It's very English looking, and the restaurant has a lot of wood in it, and it has 4 fireplaces and leather furniture and wood furniture, and it's really it's basically what my wife and I like. That's what we like. So that's what that's the reflection of the place. And it isn't a bed and breakfast. It's a 73 unit hotel, but it looks like a bed and breakfast, and it's furnished like a bed and breakfast. And we have lots of breakout rooms, and that's really one of the reasons why golfers actually come to Santee is to use this breakout room we have. We have a separate building that has 19 units in it, and it has a huge breakout room that can take care of 50 or so people, and it's got a fireplace and 2 flat screen TVs and a bar and a porch on both sides that one side overlooks the pool, and we cater cookouts there sometimes.
All
and
right.
Golf groups will come and rent that whole building, and they'll have it to themselves, and it just makes a nice place for hospitality rooms and to come after they play golf and that sort of thing. So,
So I'm going to spill the beans then, since Bill didn't. It's Southern Living has recognized Clark's Inn as a place that you must stay, and also the restaurant as some place that you must eat in.
Sounds like a gorgeous, what I think is often referred to as a boutique hotel.
It certainly is, and you cannot go there and not go into the gift shop.
What's in the gift shop?
Everything.
Oh, really?
Everything, yes, and including winey kind of stuff, because they're big into wine, and so you can get all kinds of wine knickknacks, and there are maybe 10 or 12 other hotels in Santee itself, and all of these are within that same distance to the golf courses, but Clark's is definitely the most unique and, let's say
revered.
Yeah. It's different than the rest. And there's also condo style accommodations at the resort, Santee Cooper Resort, where 2 of the golf courses are. So 2 of them are like right side by side.
Gotcha. Okay.
And Santee National, we might as well touch on the 3rd, which was built by your late brother, Charlie. And Charlie was very instrumental in helping to build up the golf in Santee, because I remember, a few years ago that I first ran into Charlie in Cleveland at a golf show.
Okay.
Yes, so he was definitely most instrumental.
we were we were always in business together to some extent, but at that particular time we were in business together with everything. So we built the course together, and Charlie was probably more involved in the golf part, and I was more involved in the development part, the development of lots and houses for sale and that sort of thing, because that honestly is the initial reason that we built the property, was to sell golf course lots. But there had been a little bit of effort in golf packaging in Santee by some other people in some other hotels, but Charlie got the idea of doing it in a bigger way, and he certainly was. He was not the first person here that did it, but he was the first person that did it on a large scale. And as it turned out, the golf course was more profitable for us to operate it as a golf packaging facility than it was to sell lots, although the development was colonized and there are a lot of houses in there at this point. And then at some point in the future, when we decided to divide up some things, Charlie ended up with the golf course because it really was his baby. And I ended up with the commercial part with the hotel because that was more suitable for me. And that's sort of how it happened.
There you go. Now,
That's it.
okay, so we're in Santee. We can golf and we can eat. Describe the area to me. It sounds like it's got a couple of beautiful lakes, but by and large, is it rural enough that you are kind of wherever you're staying and where you're golfing, that's pretty much what you're doing in a day? Charleston, not too far away, but in the immediate area, fishing, golfing, eating and dining, or drinking, all of that golf, of course. What else is there to do that you recommend? Because it sounds to me like you've spent some time there, bud.
What else do you need to do?
That's a good point. I did list everything I like, so... Well, hold on. Did I say wine?
Wine?
Okay,
Yes.
no, then we're done. Okay,
and
so
there's some really like cool restaurants. Clark's is definitely one of the best, but Wilbur's used to be a nightclub kind of atmosphere. Someone else took it over and put in a more upscale restaurant, also with a special wine component in the back room where you can have your dinner in there and have a special wine tasting with a lady who is very knowledgeable herself in wine.
and that's one of the specialties at Clark's as well. You guys have a penchant for wine, and is that something that you would do as well? Wine tastings and that sort of stuff, Bill?
No, we don't actually do that. We do have a pretty extensive wine list for a country restaurant. We have a big selection of beer. My young son is the managers the kitchen, and my older son is in the front of the house with Kitty Collier, who's our general manager. And when my young son came in, he expanded the wine list greatly, and the beer, because wine and beer are more popular now than than whiskey and liquor. But we don't really host any wine tasting things. We host events that are kind of customized for people, and when you're in a rural area, you sort of have to cater to everybody. So we have a huge variety of people that come here. We have hunters and fishermen, but we also get all the Palm Beach people going back and forth. So it's a varied clientele, and we have a number of rooms that can be converted to meeting rooms. And we have a courtyard. We sometimes have weddings. We have cookouts. We cater things up at the hotel. So that
sounds like a remarkable facility.
Well, one of the wines that they just happened to start carrying after Winfield and I first went to a golf show together in Cleveland as well, just so happens to be, Amarone. I introduced them to Amarone. So now whenever I've been there, Winfield and I have to have a little toast.
A little Amarone toast.
A little Amarone toast.
Well, listen, let's get people having a closer look. Bill, you mentioned the website again. Can you give that to me one more time?
Sure. It's clarksinandrestaurant.com.
I'll recommend you have a look at this. And if you are one of the group of people that are headed south from Canada to your southern destination, I know People are, for the longest time this summer, people were saying they weren't going, and now it sounds to me like if everything opens up, many people are going to get back to their southern destinations. Make sure that you add Clark's Inn and Restaurant to your agenda, because it sounds like a really great place to stop in.
Yes, and the town is wonderful, and the people are wonderful, and there's two other restaurants that I have to mention because, one, it's pretty much the after golf favorite for all golfers, with the biggest margaritas in the world.
Okay.
You can almost fit your head in the bowl. That's Pedro's, and it's pretty good, really good Mexican food. And then another old friend, Captain Kirk with Captain's Quarters, that will serve you up a really decent seafood meal.
All right, let's plug a little bit of local tourism. Where can people find out more, Claudio?
The town website is santeetourism.com, and you'll find all the list of golf courses, like all the accommodations, restaurants, everything you need to know, including Clark's.
Thanks so much, Bill.
Thank you for having me.
That's great. Put Santee on my list for sure. Sounds like a beautiful town, very quaint. Man, Bill's like, he's got that southern charm, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's a great guy. I've known him for years as well.
It's so amazing to me. You take us to some places I have never heard of before that just are loaded with golf and amazing experiences outdoors.
Well, you know, it's really strange when you think of a town of 800 people, or 800
people, yeah.
They get about anywhere from 70 to 100,000 people in any given year that are just going there to play golf.
That's amazing.
It is.
That's a cool place to go. Santee, check it out. And many thanks again to Bill for joining us. All right, friends, let's head into the wine cellar, something that we do in every show. Claudio's not just a great golfer with an eye on the world of golf. He's also got, he's got an eye on the best wines out there, always offering us some tips. And in fact, I shouldn't just say wines because, beers and spirits are something that you could talk about as well. But what are we talking about today?
A little bit. I want to hear more about me being a great golfer.
Yeah.
It's such an ego boost.
Okay, so hold on. I got a different way to position it. Claudio, scratch golfer extraordinaire.
Okay, now you're really exaggerating.
Okay. All right. I just want to know where the line was on how braggy I could get.
Let's go back to the wine cellar.
Let's do that. All right. What's in the wine cellar today?
Well, I thought we'd go Chardonnay today. And most of my friends who hear this were going to say, what?
Yeah, you're not a Chardonnay guy mostly?
Well, you know what? Up until I started writing about the wines and travelinggolfer.net, I was really basically a red wine drinker. And now I've been drinking some whites, and Chardonnay, I think I would have to say would be my favorite. And it's such a great wine.
What do you like about it?
Just the range of flavors and textures, and I've discovered Chablis.
Wow.
Chablis is a form of Chardonnay.
I didn't even know that.
From the Burgundy part of France.
Do you know the Burgundy monks? Do you know why Burgundy wines are so over the top?
No.
Back in the post-Middle Ages, different abbeys and different monasteries would compete with their wines, all off the same hills in the same region. But from area to area, even a matter of 150 meters or less, the soil content changes. And there's rumor that the monks knew where to grow the wine based on how the soil tasted. So they would actually taste the soil to know what grapes to place in what parts of the hills to get the best Burgundy wines.
See, I learned something new every day when
There
I
you
come
go.
here. Maybe
Yeah.
we should go to your wine cellar.
No, man, look, that's all the wine knowledge I have. I can't believe I managed to get it out on a show. But that is a little bit of history that is kind of interesting, that they would taste the soil because just all in the same area, many different soils would give you different flavors in your wines.
Very interesting. And up there, the climate's a little bit cooler.
Yep.
It's a little bit more, I guess, acidity is a little more prevalent
Well, that's what they would.
in the wine.
That's really what they were tasting for, was where the acidity line came to a point where the plant would flourish, as opposed to an acidity line where the plant would grow smaller grapes and that sort of thing. But they even found use for those. So yeah, you're right. The climate, and even as they made their way up the hill, temperature would change as much as 5-6 degrees.
Yep, and it gives that's where the Chablis comes in, because that's its own region, and it kind of puts I don't know, a little zestiness in it. It's kind of revered as the champagne of Chardonnay, so it's so I've just kind of gotten into a couple of these. And
do you have any recommends for us that you want to pass along?
Oh, actually, there's a couple. Domain, it's always have a hard time with these French names.
Give it a try. You're going to do better than I will.
It's not like Behringer or Rodney Strong or something like that. But
even Amaroni's easy. But
Amaroni's easy, but
all right, give it a try.
Domaine Chevalier. It's about $26. So the Chablis are a little bit more expensive than your basic Chardonnay. And Domaine La Roche Saint Martin. That's a $29 bottle. Now, these are all Canadian prices, so a lot less than the U.S. And then if you want to go over the top all the way up to $40, we have a Domaine La Roche Le Vedeve. Or Vedeve.
Vedeve?
Vedeve.
What way did he go?
To the LCBO.
I'm sorry. LCBO, for non-Canadian listeners, Liquor Licensing Board of Ontario.
That's it.
Is that what it was?
No gooseberries.
No, hey, avoid gooseberries at all costs.
Avoid gooseberries. So,
all right, well, there you go.
That, and getting back to just your regular Chardonnay and some of the, you've got the oaky flavors, you've got the buttery flavors. For the most part, very reasonabally priced, and the quality, texture.
What's an average bottle of wine going for?
Finishes. There's just like the Cab Sauves, the Chardonnays now are coming in at, $17 to $22. You can get a lot of really good stuff, and then you can, whatever your budget palate will accept, you can go as high as you want. I haven't really found the need to venture that high yet, but
you found good enough wine at decent price points.
Yeah, and some of these I find myself, and some of these are recommended. And if somebody recommends something that's not that expensive, I'm gonna try it.
What are the Chardonnays you've tried that you like?
Oh my God, lots. I'm gonna say, if anybody wants to look at travelinggolfer.net, go on Wine and Spirits. Click on whatever country you like, and then you'll find all the different whites. But there's a slew of them. A couple of Behringers come to mind. One at $11, one at $17. Joel Gott, if you want to go all the way up to $23, we covered that before. There's a few other ones that we covered. Bar Dog, which is definitely one of my favorites. Fun name like Gnarly Head. And then back to a Joel Gott relative in Three Thieves.
Oh, that's right. He's one of the three thieves.
He
Joel
is.
Gott, yeah.
And those three I just mentioned are all $16 to $18 Canadian. So good deals.
If people wanted to reach out to you, send a quick email, could they do that to ask you about the wines?
Absolutely.
Where do they reach you?
That's right on the travelinggolfer.net.
I just wanted you to say travelinggolfer.net one more time. But you can link through to Claudio right there.
You can.
I do on occasion. When I need to get an email to you and I have the website up, instead of opening my email, I'll just click.
It's our Gmail account.
Okay. Look, if you have a suggestion you'd like to make, we want to hear about it too. And if there's a place you'd like to find out more about, or that you want to recommend as a destination for golf that is outrageous, it may be on our list, or it may be something we need to check out. So go to travelinggolfer.net, have a look around to see what's there. And if there's something you want to recommend, please do reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast right here, wherever you're listening to it. If you're listening on YouTube, hit the notification bell at the top right, and it'll let you know when we put a new show up.
Ding.
That's what it does.
Ding.
Ding. And I'll remind you, friends, gooseberries in wine suck, but
they do.
But we'll find good wines for you along the way and great places to golf. Claudio, thanks so much.
Thank you. It's always fun.
It's a good time, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Let's do some more of these.